All right. We're going to play with the LED, the Neopixel LED strip, mainly because this thing's kind of fun and it's really easy to use. I know this looks like a lot of code. This is really pretty basic stuff, but we'll step through it. And wiring up couldn't be much easier. It's got a black, red, and a yellow line, and just kind of like the, let's see, what was that? Uh, what was that we were playing with? Oh, the servo. So just kind of like the servo. In this case, we have a black line, that's ground. Red line is voltage, and it wants 5 volts. So make sure you plug it into the first pin on this kind of right-hand side. That's your V bus, the 5 volts. And then you pick an input or an output pin. In this case, I'm plugged into the very first one on the other side, and that is GPIO 0. If you look at your card. So once that's plugged in, here's kind of how you use it. So, you do need to get from the Adafruit CircuitPython bundle, way down at the bottom, there's a neopixel.mpy. Grab that one and put it into your lib folder, and that'll make this all work. Rainbow IO and Color Wheel, I'm not really sure exactly how those work, but those are ones that come with CircuitPython, so we're good for that one. So we're going to set up our pin. In this case, like I said, GPIO is 0, and we have to define the number of pixels that the LED strip is so that we can actually loop through them, and also define that for the NeoPixel object. That's really because like each one of them is referenceable, that kind of thing, and so you need to know if you are going outside of the bounds of how many wires, how many LEDs you have. And currently, yeah, it's set to 0.3. Where I am, it's pretty bright. I'm actually going to see if I can turn that down, and yeah, that's a little less blinding. 02. Okay, there you can kind of still see, and yeah, my eyeballs aren't frying. So don't use a big number on the brightness. You really don't need to. And I'm not positive on what the auto write parameter is. I would have to look at that in the API. I copied and pasted this code from the Adafruit website, so give them credit for it. I just searched for CircuitPython Neopixel LED strip, and this was the first link that came up. And all I did was copy and paste this code, and I changed the board address from A1 to GP0. So it's pretty easy. Yeah, so let's continue looking through the code here. We create our NeoPixel object by giving it the pin, the number of pixels, of brightness, and then auto write. I guess the pixels.show. Yeah, you want to do this so that if you have auto write on, then I guess there's a decent bit of delay. Whereas this is you kind of set up each one of your pixels and then call this show function, and that'll kind of actually set, or it'll turn the LEDs that color. First, you have to set it to a color, and then that'll kind of write them or make them display. So we'll look at these functions here in a little bit, but we set up a couple of variables: red, yellow, green, cyan, blue, and purple, and these are just different red, green, and blue values. So you can see red is completely red, blue is completely blue, red, green, blue, that's the order. So that's your red value, green value, and then blue value. And purple is a mix, cyans and yellow are mixes. And so here we'll say pixels.fill red, so we'll pass it the color, and then call show, and that will set them all red. And we sleep for a second, set them all to green, and then set them all to blue. Then we get into these other ones called color chase. So let's look at that function now. So we're going to specify a color and the amount of time to wait. we can see here that the default values were kind of set to 0.1. And so what this is going to do is it's going to loop through the range of 0 to our number of pixels, in this case 8. It's going to grab that pixel and set its color value to the color. So instead of saying pixels.fill, that sets all of the pixels to a certain color. This way we're going to set a specific pixel, the 0, 1, 2, 3, whatever, to color. But then we call time.sleep and then show. And so what that's going to do is we're going to set pixel 0 to red and then wait and then show them, and then set the next pixel to red, wait, and then show. And so what that's going to do is that gives us this kind of a color wipe of that color, but it takes 0.1 seconds for each one for it to kind of go through. That's kind of a fun one. And it does that. It kind of chases each one of those colors again. And then it calls rainbow.cycle. I did change this number. By default, it actually doesn't. You pass it a 0 and it'll go as fast as it can. Let's actually turn that back up just a little bit. I don't feel like you can see the colors quite so much. So there's the color chase. You can see it kind of going down the LED strip. And then this is the kind of rainbow wipe, which is really hard to see on that. Here, this lets you see it a little bit better. Yeah. So that's as fast as it can. So I can turn that back to 101, and that gave it a little bit of a delay. All right. So the rainbow cycle, this is going to loop from 0 to 255, and then this loop will loop over our pixels 0 to 8. It's going to say, okay, our index value times 256 divided by, no, what's that? Yeah, so this is, I times 256. The slash does a divide, but then does what's called a floor. So it'll just drop off whatever decimal value is. So the slash converts it into an integer. And then gets us a plus our J value, which is cycling through. Then we run that through color wheel and then show them. So I'd have to look at this code a little bit more to kind of figure out exactly what color wheel is doing. But it obviously is kind of cycling through those colors, and it moves them through the LED strip. So it's kind of a cool little bit of code. It's pretty easy to get set up. It does a lot. I mean, really, if you wanted to just have all of this commented out and then just say pixels.fill red and then show. But we just save that. Oh, yeah, probably can't comment out our variables. All right, so now it's red. And if we wanted to, we could change it to blue and save it. And now they're blue. So, I mean, that's as basic as it is. Again, the pixels sub 3 equals red. So now we have they'll all turn blue. And we have to default pixels show. And now remember, it's 0, 1, 2, 3. So 3 is the fourth one, but that one just turned red. The other ones are blue. So you can set each LED individually by setting that index of the pixel to whatever color you want. And you can play around with this. You can choose lots of different mixes and matches. These are just kind of some of the real kind of basic colors that most people are used to. But then I guess the thing like the color wheel will let you kind of pick a different mix of colors in there. So yeah, play around with it. Try changing colors. Try changing colors of individual LEDs, and yeah, see what you think. All right.